In the life of Saint Sergius of Nurma, a saint named Paul is mentioned. When Sergius first saw Paul, birds perched on Paul's head and shoulders, feeding from his hands. A bear stood nearby, waiting patiently to receive something from Paul's hand. Foxes, rabbits, and other animals ran about and were not afraid of the bear. Sergius befriended Paul. The two of them became close friends for life. They counseled one another in their endeavors. Each of them strove to maintain purity of mind and life. They visited one another frequently, strengthening each other in the advanced life of virtue they had undertaken from the beginning. With practical advices, they helped each other to endure the inevitable tribulations of life. Saint Sergius' home was 3 miles away. When, after a visit to Paul, Sergius was leaving for his home, Paul accompanied him for 2/3 of the way. The sweetness of friendship came for them from the sincerity of counsel shared. These two saints enjoyed their sincere friendship for many years. One night, while he was at prayer, Paul heard a church bell ring. This occurred again on another occasion. Then the phenomenon was repeated more and more often. To Paul's astonishment, on weekdays he would hear the ringing of small bells, while on feast days there would be a louder pealing. The greater the feast day, the more triumphant the ringing became. For a long time, Paul ignored the ringing of the bells, because he thought it was some kind of hallucination. Then something happened, which convinced him that the opposite was true. As the feast of Pascha came, Paul began the office of the so-called all-night vigil. Suddenly at midnight, he heard a triumphant ringing. Opening the window, Paul looked downhill toward the village, and he saw an extraordinary light shining in the forest beyond the river. Paul felt peace and inexpressible joy in his heart. Later he shared this vision with the people who were living around, and they all confirmed the thought which had already appeared in his mind, namely, to build a church on that place where the light was shining in the forest. But, as we have had occasions to mention before, even when we are very confident, it is always a good idea to consult someone who is also experienced. Paul decided to seek the advice of his friend Sergius. Saint Sergius regarded this vision as a revelation and encouragement from God. He also urged Paul to build a church and to dedicate the church to the Holy Trinity. This was the last meeting of the two saints in this world. The church that was built became a holy place where many received help from God and found the way of virtue and salvation. God is wonderful in his saints. To him be glory forever. Amen.
Dai Oh,